Hey, how you doing? This is Kitch, and you are watching me play Factorio. I'm wanting to do a little bit of refinement down here, not only on these stations, but on just kind of the science setups in general. And I want to start by removing that signal right there. Actually, all three of these. The ones that are wired, the ones that we're basically controlling the trains with. Because I don't think, the more I get to thinking about it, the more I don't think that's going to be optimal for this situation. When I did the testing in the creative world, we were doing that, but it was all with like the same station inside, behind the same stacker, in which, you know, they would still sit there and wait until one of the stations would clear up, and then they'd come out of the stacker. Since our other station is actually going to be behind a different stacker, I don't think that's going to work. And since our stations will potentially have different names, I think doing the station turn-off approach is actually going to be a little bit better. So I think we can do that rather easily if we just take this red wire right here. This is the combinator that's telling us what we need. And sending that to this station. And we'll just enable this when anything is greater than 0. And I'm not sure if this green wire is going to conflict with that. Let's just look. If I say everything greater than 0, is that going to turn that off? Well, never mind. I don't even know what I'm thinking there. That's not going to be a thing at all, because if it does have a signal on it, it's going to be the signal coming from the train. That'll tell it to turn on, so it's fine. It's fine, Kitch. What are you worried about? And if the station's closed, the train will never come here, so that will never turn itself back on. Okay, so I was thinking logic, but thinking logic that I don't think is ever going to happen. Okay, so right now both of these stations are turned off. That is the way that it is. That's the way that it shall be. And basically all our trains are going to hang out up here until one of the stations opens up, and then that will send them down to rapidly go and fill it up. What are you? You're an iron train? Something must be short on iron. I set up these stations the exact same way. But apparently... Okay, yeah, that's the other problem. But we'll address that in another way a little bit differently. All right. So, I think that gets our stations situated. And I want to change the way that I do the shutoff of this system. And we will get into that right after we roll the intro. All right, so currently we're controlling this science by waiting for a backup to happen here, and then we're basically turning off the supply. I don't want to do that. I want to approach this a little bit differently, one that I kind of alluded to in the last episode. Let's take this also, and can we take this down one? It'll have to be a little bit goofy, but... might as well start now. Let's see. Yeah, let's move all that stuff over there. And yeah, I just want to put the military science filter on this side of that splitter, because it would be extremely unlikely, but there was still the chance with it up here that it could go and endlessly be put onto this, just with bad luck. It would never actually go out. So in this situation, it's going to go ahead and get filtered off there, and this one's going to get filtered off there before this combination of belts happens. So there is no science going from this belt over to this one, and yeah, I think that works out a little bit better. All right, so the second thing I want to do is wire up these inserters. The output inserters for our science, and I want to set a condition on them, something like military science less than 2,000, and that's a number I just picked out of the top of my head. But we're going to say that if there is less than 2,000 science up here in our train buffer chests. We're going to go ahead and turn these off so they're not going to produce anymore. And I think this is going to work out a little bit better. Not necessarily so here with the military science, though it is better to control that with a hard number. But up here with the red and green science, I've actually already set it up that way up here, where it's going off of the inserters instead, simply because we don't have any control between red and green science with the way we were doing it. With this, we actually have the ability to turn off the green machines if we have too much green, turn off the red machines if we have too much red. We should be using red and green at a constant rate, so it shouldn't matter unless it totally does. Okay, so we got all the inserters set up there with the logic. Let's go ahead and run a set of power poles coming down here. And that will stretch. Will this stretch? No, of course not. Why would it? Let's do something like that then. And we'll stretch it over that way. Now, we've got to be really careful that this green network that has our inserters doesn't get intermingled with our other one. Not that it would really matter. Well, I guess it would, because that other one feeds into a counter instead of coming up here to the actual storage that we have. And we don't want the counted value. We want what we actually have. So we have 749 right now. As soon as we get more than 2,000 into that station right there, this thing is going to shut itself down. Or at least stop making the military science. Stop putting it out on the line. All right. Are we good with this? I believe so. Yeah, and this station design that I've done with more than one thing, I admit it's goofy, and there have been some suggestions on different ways to do this, and I kind of agree with those, and I find them very practical. However, that's not what I'm wanting to do with this series. I'm wanting to do stuff a little bit crazy and unconventional, because yeah, we can easily put a copper, an iron, a brick, a coal, and a steel station here and just let it go, or not limit it by any amount or anything like that. But I don't know, I think this is more fun, and it feels like we're being more efficient, even though we're probably not. All right, let's just come up here and double check these real quick. Yeah, we have the same condition up here, more than 2,000 red science. We're going to turn those off. More than 2,000 green science, and we're going to turn all of our green machines off. So that should work out pretty good. Actually, work out so well, I believe, that I can go ahead and enable these guys again and get our trains running again, and might as well get some science being produced because we actually have a break on it now. Well, I guess we'll see if we have a break on it now. I feel pretty confident that we have a break on it. This is definitely one way to test that theory. All right, and I want to play with an idea. Now this idea is not complete. It doesn't work. Let's just go right out there and say that. This idea does not work. It is not a good idea. But it's something I just kind of want to start just to think about. I don't think it's going to hurt anything. Let's just leave it at that. What I want to do is take this red wire and send it out on the network. So what this gives us is a red signal that gives us a 1 for every single thing that we currently need. Now, why were there 4,000 steel? It seems to me like maybe... Oh, okay. It's reading that signal and sending it out on the red network. Let's see. Can we do anything about that? Let's see. If we take that connection off and turn that over to a green connection coming from you, That's going to send that... That's going to send that that way, and we don't want that to happen, so that can't be green. I'm just trying to isolate that signal there. Okay, so what we could do is something like this, and say if anything greater than 0 output like green. 1 green. Because, yeah, I'm wanting this red wire to be just what we need. And what's happening is this station is set to read the train contents. That's how we determine if we're going to turn our inserters on or not. That red signal going in there is muddying the water of what I'm wanting that red signal to represent. So what we can do is turn that over and just convert it over to a green signal. So that if there's anything coming in, we're going to send out a green signal, and we can set that to green greater than 0, and that should give us the same thing, just spelled differently. So we take that, we take that, we unhook that, and set you to just the green color greater than 0. Okay, that's not gonna work either. Okay, we take this red, because we're getting a mix from the other side. So we take that out, and we turn that to a green signal coming in. So we're getting iron and copper, and we are outputting that green signal. See, over here, we're getting the iron and copper over here, too. We don't want that. That's the backflow of the signal on that red wire. Just stone, coal, and steel right now. I think that's what we want, and we're not going to get the train contents on here. We're only going to get 1 red signal for everything that we need. Okay, that's much better. All right, we're going to have to do the same up here on this station. Ha! You remembered that. I was wondering if it would. Okay, so we take you into the back and take you out to there and unhook you from that. Ooh, that was close. And set you to green greater than 0. Okay, so you need copper, so that is sending out a green signal to keep that open. Okay, and we just have that copper signal coming out here. Okay, so a long time ago, I was talking about sending these signals out on the outside because I had an idea of what I wanted to do with them. And like I said, this idea is not a complete idea. It may not even be a good idea. But having what we need in the stations down here are going to be somewhat helpful, I think. And it all has to do with what I want to do with this station right here. So let's go ahead and clear some of this out. Go ahead and turn robots back on. Let them take out some trees. And let's copy these stations down a ways. Can we not... we can't because these are 2 tiles wide, and that's as far as that'll move over. Okay, so that's why we have that spacing there. That's fair. That's fair. We'll go with that. I know Cornosian sent a way to make this station tighter, and we may look at that. But for now, I just want to get something set up. All right, do we have the train stops? We have the train stops. We're just waiting for robots to clear out trees right now, which is fine. They can do that. Do we have some signals? We have 8 signals. Is that going to be enough? Probably not. Are you guys signaled? Yeah, you guys are signaled. And how many was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to need a couple more. All right, and someday we may put coal in here to make these a refueling station. All right, so let's get our signals coming this way. I want to get the red signal of all the items that we currently need. Coming this way. Okay, and I want to hook this up to all of these stations. Okay, and I want to send a train, yes, and I'm going to call this station just hold. And I'm going to call that one hold, and basically all of these hold. Okay. So the idea, what I want to do is take these trains, have them fill up with their stuff, and then I want them to come here and basically come to this holding station and just wait until such a day that you actually do need whatever that train has in it. So let's start with the steel train because I think we need the less amount of steel. Right now, it's going to go to this station no matter whether this station needs steel or not, because it could be turned on if coal or brick are inactive. So let's just add the hold station here. And let's see, I want to add a circuit condition of steel greater than 0. And let's do 2 seconds of inactivity as well. And the reason for the 2 seconds of inactivity is because I want to make this into a fueling station someday. So it's going to go to the steel station, it's going to come to this hold station, and it's just going to wait there until we get a circuit condition that says we need steel, and then it's going to go drop it off there. And let's see. Right now we have that signal, so it shouldn't do anything. It's just going to stop, and it's going to go. Now that I'm thinking about it, is that ever going to go? We would have to program some kind of buffer in there for that to work really well. Kind of like a latch. Now, why aren't you requesting copper? Oh, because we don't have a copper train coming here. That would certainly explain some things. Let's find our copper train. There you are, right there. What's up with you, man? Why aren't you going? Drop off iron, copper. You want to do... no. Add station. Oh, that's right. I was gonna rename those station names. Can we do that from space? Even though I'm sitting right next to it. Red, green, science. Let's change that to science red green, so they're easier to spot in a crowd. And this is going to be science black. And you are going to be science black. And we want the copper train. You are going to go to science red-green first. For inactivity, 1 second. And then we're going to add, let's go ahead and add the hold station in here. And you are going to wait there for inactivity and circuit condition of copper greater than 0. Probably set that to 1 second and get those set as fast inserters. All right, and let's go ahead and do the same for the iron train. You're going to go to hold. You're going to wait there until you get a signal for iron and also for a second of inactivity. You want to go there right after you fill up your stuff. And yeah, let's go ahead and catch you guys as well. You're going to go to hold. You are going to wait for a circuit condition of bricks, which is under logistics. Okay. And let's see, the only one we're missing is coal. Okay, so our iron train right here is demonstrating what we want it to do. We are not getting a need for iron, even though this station is probably on. Okay, so now we got the iron or the steel signal that it's actually needed, and that train is going to actually come down here and fulfill that need. So the problem we have is that if this thing needs stone, coal, or steel, this is going to be on. And before we had it to where the train would come, the steel train's going to come to this station if we need coal, if we need bricks, or if we need steel. We're trying to limit it to where it only comes if we actually need steel. And let's see, copper, I think you're the only one we haven't set up to hold. So let's do this the same way. You are coal. And we'll throw the inactivity of 1 second on there. So you can have time to refuel, should we set that to be a refueling station. Yeah, it's just another little step in there. Now, this is not going to work. Not going to work the way that I want it to, or that you may be imagining it, because there's a lot of other factors that come into play. Putting a tolerance basically on that to where it's requesting, not whenever it drops below, because as soon as an inserter hits, it's going to basically cause that to turn on and off. There's that factor, and then there's also the factor of like let's say we had 5 iron trains on the setup here, or let's just say they're all 6 of these are iron trains, and they're all just sitting there waiting. We have everything shut off, and there's no signal coming. If this one station right here dips below and sends out that iron signal, all 5 of those trains are just going to rush and race toward it. That's another little flaw in the system, but it's not a big one. It's just kind of Factorio behavior, I guess, would be a way to look at it. There may be ways that we can work with that, but yeah, for right now, I think, and like I said, it's not a complete idea. It's just kind of the start of an idea, and with a little bit more thought, I think it could actually. Right now, it's a notion. With a little bit of thought, I think it could turn into an idea. May not be worth it. May not be worth it in the end. But the other thing this does is in a situation where we have all of our stations turned off, the trains aren't going to back up here anymore. They'll actually back up here, which is preferable, in my opinion, to having the actual loading stations blocked off. So there is that. There is that little advantage. And other than that, we're just really wasting a little bit of extra fuel here and there. All right. Well, I think I'm going to go ahead and end this episode here. We're at 1K. And probably should be something a little bit... Oh, 1.5K. Okay, you guys are actually winning that race. Interesting. Okay, you just need some stone brick. And I think the problem with both coal and stone brick is that we're just not producing enough of it. It's because these things just, I mean, look at this stone trickle in. I mean, it's hardly coming in at all. And we're waiting for a full load. It works. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. I think in the next episode, a couple things I want to do. I went ahead and ran this train up here because we're going to have to, in order to do the blue science, we're going to have to deal with refining. And I kind of want to integrate this train line into our main train line. That's kind of the idea there. Nobody wants to sit and watch me manually place track. And I want to get science set up. And I'm wanting to do science, I think, in line with the red science right here, but just on the other side, so that our trains come around and pick this stuff up and then loop-de-loo, as it were. So yeah, I think that will be a job for the next episode. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. I will see you in the next episode where, boy, these outbound. I never did the signaling that I was going to do here. And it definitely shows. Ha! No train getting me there. All right, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Have a... Right there? Good enough. Have a good one.